Hi everyone, Armoured Pants here, and I have another video for you in the German line. This is the Tier 10 medium, the E50M, which is a fantastic tank. We're going to have a look at the tech spec in blitzhanger.com in a moment. Now, before we get into that, historically this tank never existed. However, the E50 was to replace the Panther, and they scrapped plans for the Panther 2 and they brought in the E50 plans and then the E50M plans, which had the engine mounted in the back of the tank, which the Wehrmacht actually required. And if it had gone into production, it probably would have been called the King Panther or the Royal Panther. So it is the natural successor to the Panther, and what a fantastic tank it would have been in the theatre of war. Now, it's very similar to the E50, same tactics, same play style. It really is the same tank, just with a rear mounted engine as required by the Wehrmacht, as we said. Has a 105mm gun, 6.6 second reload on that gun. The gun handling is fantastic, if we look here, you're getting some decent penetration on the HE as well, so don't forget your HE. It will go through a lot of lightly armoured tanks and tank destroyers and through the back of many mediums as well, and you'll get some nice alpha rolls there. On the normal APCR rounds, the DPM is quite okay. But you should use supercharged and refined gun, because you'll get the muzzle velocity up to almost 2,000 meters per second, 1,921 meters per second, which is best in class, along with the Object 140 and T62A. So you're right up there with the best muzzle velocities in the tier, some of the best in Blitz actually. And what does that mean? Well, that means that long-range sniping, for example, is really going to be very successful, and it means that your actual DPM, as opposed to your relative DPM, is going to be really high. Now, compared to other Tier 10 mediums, this tank is a bit sluggish. It feels like it's in treacle or in mud all the time. Traverse speed is much slower, let's say, than its Russian counterparts, and its weight to power ratio is quite low. Now, what does that mean? Well, we're actually going to open up weight to power ratio to have a look at the definition here, but basically means from a stop start the tank is slow. It accelerates slowly. It's a bit sluggish, and that's because of the power to weight ratio. So if you're used to playing something like an Object 140, you'll find this tank sluggish when it starts off. But if you've come up through the German line, you will know that this is quite typical, starting with the Panzer 4G, even premiums like the T25 at Tier 5. It's quite typical of German medium tanks. Now, let's look at the armour profile. Amazing frontal armour. It's almost heavy tank armour front on, and it will bounce shots. Look at those relative armour numbers. You can side scrape in this tank. Just look at the relative armour numbers that we can get on the turret and on the sides. If you can protect that lower glacis, that lower plate in the tank, you will be able to side scrape all day long. So front on and in a side scraping position, this tank can almost be played like a heavy tank, and that's really a great option to have in a medium tank, because you can't do it in many medium tanks. And front on, of course, with that armor, it is a Ram Panther. Now remember, run 2 repair kits, because even though you have this spaced armor here, you don't want to get tracked out in the open, because you're vulnerable at the sides and back, as you can see, and you're up with the biggest guns in the game, so you don't want to get smashed by something massive like a Jagdtiger, sorry. Now, you can reverse side scrape in this too, so if you can hide your butt, you can see that you can reverse side scrape. Look at those relative armor angles on the side of the hull and on the turret. You can reverse side scrape, but you need to hide your butt if you're doing so, because your butt is very vulnerable. Now, be careful going uphill, because look at this. Virtually no armor on the top of the turret or the top of the hull. If something like a Jagdtiger or a Death Star sees you going downhill or uphill and can fire down from an elevated position, you will die in one shot. So be very aware of that. Know where those big guns are before you decide to go up or downhill. Now, typical medium tactics apply to this tank as per the guide. You could almost say you play it as a medium tank, a medium by numbers, let's say, or paint by numbers, right? You are the game CPU, so you should get out, scout, spot, then you should assess, reassess and move. Arm, assess, reassess and move. Once you find out where the enemy is, you then process that data and move accordingly to maximize the benefit for your team. That can be to capture, that could be to flank, that could be to spot up if you don't know where the big guns are. If you're spotting, of course, you need to move, particularly when you're playing a tier 10, from cover to cover, because you don't want to get caught out in the open and get spotted up by something like a Death Star. Game over if he gets you on the side or on the back. Now, we had a look at the very start. We had a look at the view range on this. If you maximize the view range on this, it is one tactic that will help you in spotting and scouting. You get over 300 meters view range, which is very helpful, and you should maximize that because you're in a medium tank. Plus, with the rear mounted engine in this, it's less prone to catch fire than its predecessor, the E50, and indeed that's one of the reasons that the Wehrmacht required this from a historical context, because most tanks get hit in the front, and if the engine is at the rear, there's less chance of it catching fire and being damaged. So, and that applies in Blitz as well. You can see here it is an expensive tank to get, 6.1 million credits and a lot of XP, but it is well worth it. And now 2 games. The first is Oasis Palms. So first thing I do obviously is I check the setup. I always count the fast movers first, that's lights and meds, see who I'd like it to come up against. It should go to sea. Therefore I decide to blast off to sea, doing the job of medium tank to scout up sea, to spot if I can, and if the coast is clear or the opportunity presents itself, is to then cap. Now I've driven past this cap here because I want to scout on spot. So don't go sillily and stupidly just straight into sea, particularly when you're in tier 10, you know, because there's big guns and they can be camping at the back there. You drive into sea and you can just get smashed and have a very bad game that will end very quickly. So spot it out and scout it up first. And we see there was a Yag Tiger. Now we know where he is. Now we know it's safe to cap, and we can help our friends. Indeed, I decide not to cap. It's about decision making. There we go, the Ram Panther, that lovely frontal armor. If you can hit a tank on the sides or back, or a light tank or anywhere with this, you will do a lot of damage. It has great frontal armor, and it really is a Ram Panther. Much like the Panzer 5.4 is the Ram Panzer, this is a Ram Panther. If we accept the fact that it was a successor to the Panther family of tanks, and it is a round that never ends, right? It never has to be reloaded. It can be used over and over again. Obviously, you don't want to be ramming heavies front on. That's a bad idea. But you can ram tanks in the side, the back, and you can ram a light tank or a tank with no armor, like for example a grill, anywhere, and do lots of damage. Now you can see in this game I have been using arm tactics: assess, reassess, move. Just, you know, I'm seeing where the enemy is and then I'm moving accordingly, trying to bring my gun into play to have the maximum benefit for my team. You know, I'm not concerned, I'm a team player, I'm not concerned about my own performance. I'm concerned about winning the game for my team, right? And doing my job as a medium tank. Now, I know I can cap now. It would give us a significant advantage, which is important. And while I'm capping, I can also do some damage to the enemy as well. So 2 very good jobs. I'm using that refined gun, that supercharged there. You saw there, I'm able to pen him even front on through the lower plate. Took him for my troubles, that was my own fault, didn't get back fast enough. But you can see just how good this gun is. And now I'm going to use the speed of the tank and the frontal armor. I'm going to get in around this Yag Tiger, take him from my troubles, drop the adrenaline, repair, and I'm around him, and now it's game over for him. The tank is somewhat sluggish if you compare it to how an Object 140 or T62A would move there, but nonetheless it is more than adequately agile and maneuverable to take care of a turretless tank destroyer like that. Now we can see pushing on here, I'm going to take out this Leopard, and if I didn't get him with a shot, I was going to ram him. Now we come back around, up again. You can see the tank is pretty agile, you know. We shouldn't criticize it too much. It just is a bit slow from a stop start, so you need to be aware of that. But you can see there's some demonstrations of the tank skills, but also how medium tanks should be played, delivering first class mastery badge, almost 3.5k damage, and more importantly over 1.1k of XP. Now the second game is a mastery game, and I have to show you this game. I was debating whether I should or not, because it's an odd game, I have to say, but I decided to show it to you because it really illustrates what we've been talking about here on channel all through all of the videos of the last 6-7 months or so, and that it is XP that delivers mastery badges. You are going to see in this game me getting a mastery badge in a tier 10 with 1 kill and 2.2k, I'm serious, 2.2k of damage. I've done more damage in a tier 5 medium and not got mastery badge. But you know, it's about XP, right? It's not about damage or about number of kills. It's about the XP you get. I get a ton of XP in this game for spotting. I get a lot for capping as well, but I get a lot of XP for spotting in this game, and that delivers a mastery badge. And it's just so odd. I mean, I have to say, even though I understand and I realise that this is how to win mastery badges, I was extremely surprised when the golden M popped up in this game. Really surprised. It was just totally unexpected. But when you look at the base XP that received in the game, you understand why. Now, if you wonder what I'm doing there, I was firing to see if a light bulb went off over my head. If it did, then I would know the enemy is present. They're not, so I move up. Now I've spotted them again. So I've spotted up nearly all of the enemy team so far, except 2, and I'm going to spot them up in a minute. You will see them popping up on screen. And that's what delivers the XP. But as I said, I have done, there we go, he was down behind the hill, along with the other tank destroyer. Sorry, it's actually yeah, the object 704, and the 2 of them were down behind the hill. That's why the light bulb didn't go off when I fired into the bush that time. They were actually hiding on the other side of the hill, but now I spotted them up. So I've spotted up nearly all of the enemy team, I think, and that has delivered a ton of XP to me, which ultimately delivers the mastery badge. But again, even with that said, it's totally unexpected, and it just shows how Blitz is such a dynamic game, and how it's not only about damaging the enemy and blowing up enemy tanks. You can get mastery badges and that all important valuable XP from doing other things, from being a good team player, which is exactly what I do in this game. Now again, I played this game as a medium tank should be played, basically medium tank play by the numbers. Going to firstly scout out and spot up at D, then going to cap D, then spotting up the rest of the enemy, moving around the map, using my speed and agility to get around the map, to put the enemy under pressure. Now we've cleared off this hill near A. Not only did I put some damage in on the T-57, but I also allowed my allies to spot him up and to ultimately kill him. So I got XP for that. Now I'm going to cap again, more XP being delivered. And you can see now we are you know, in a really strong position, because we're going to cap 3 of the 4 bases, leaving now the Reds only with C. So this is really solid medium tank play. Nothing spectacular. I have done nothing in this game that any player couldn't do. I've done nothing that any 40% player couldn't do, 35% or whatever. These are just basics, right? I didn't do anything particularly brilliant or genius, you know. And as you saw, I only, as you'll see in the results, I only got 2.2k of damage, and I only got 1 kill, which was the kill there on the Death Star, and that's it. That's all I did in the game. But by moving around, by playing a medium tank as it should be played, and remember, arm, assess, reassess, move, delivers mastery badge. You probably didn't believe me, but there you go, mastery badge, 2.2k of damage, and just 1 kill. But look at the base XP. Base XP is significant. It's over 1.2k, and that's what delivers the mastery badge there. So you can see then when we look at the efficiency, just all of the spotting that I did and how that delivered such base XP. So I spotted up almost every tank. I think I did spot up every tank on the enemy team, and that is what delivers the mastery badge. So I think it was a very unusual game though, so I had to share it with you, and I think it is the lowest damage, as far as I remember, it's the lowest damage, certainly above tier 6. I think it's the lowest damage mastery badge I think I've ever gotten, but it just shows you how important other activities are in Blitz. And also shows you how effective the E50M can be and how effective a medium tank can be in a game in swinging it in your team's favour, even though you may not contribute anything close to the nearest amount of damage or be top gun or high caliber. You can see there on the XP that of the you know, only not even a third of it was from damage. The rest of it was from, for example, patrol duty and Confederate. And you know, I've said before, patrol duty, Confederate, scout badges, they're even more important than your mastery badges when you're playing medium tanks and light tanks, because that's what you should be doing. You're executing your job effectively when you are doing and gaining those badges. So there we go. Two pretty good games in the E50M, two games that show its strengths and how it can be played and how it plays so well as a medium tank. Now let's have a quick recap. This is an excellent medium tank. It is typical of German mediums, frontal armor, but also a bit sluggish from a stop start. I mean, the armor on the front is just excellent. There's no getting away from it. It really is excellent, and you will bounce shots on it all day long. And you play this tank as a medium by the numbers, and remember, arm, assess, reassess, moving around the map. You know, 105mm gun is fantastic, great gun handling on it, and with that muzzle velocity you can snipe and fire from distance. 6.6 second reload is okay. It's slower than its, for example, its Russian counterparts, but then it has other qualities. But the effective DPM, because the gun handling is so good, is actually excellent. Now, we did say the tank is sluggish from a stop start because we did look at the power to weight ratio, but you need to be aware of this. Now, your job in this tank is to spot, scout and cap and move as the game unfolds, which I did in both of those games. And remember, it is the Ram Panther, the round that never needs to be reloaded and never runs out. And you know, always be aware of that. You can get a lot of extra damage by ramming in this tank. I use supercharged and refined gun on it to maximize muzzle velocity, because the muzzle velocity is just wow. It's almost 2,000 meters per second, which, as I said, is best in class in Blitz. It is a great tank. Just be aware of its weaknesses, like the slow traverse, but enjoy it because it's a lot of fun. On the traverse, by the way, if you pre-aim the gun by moving the turret before you come onto target, you will counterbalance that lack of traverse quite a bit, and we explained that in the T25 guide earlier. Now, cheers much, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, hope you found it useful. The music, people ask me if I could say what it is. So the first piece on the first game is Bach Concerto for Violin and Oboe. And the second piece that appears in the second game is Karl Orff's very famous O Fortuna from Carmina Burana, which is a fantastic opera, great piece of music if you ever get a chance to see it live. So I guess all remains for me to say is pants off.